Dudes, it is I, the dude who talks, and welcome to a new video. So for this video, instead of just covering one band, I thought I would cover a few bands in this video that may or may not have been on your radar this summer. Now, I know that summer is almost at an end, but I thought it would be cool to just cover some artists that you may or may not have heard of this summer. So I've a bit of a nice varied selection for you guys. A bit of black metal, some ambient jazz, and a little bit of psychedelic music. So let's just get stuck in, shall we? First up, we have Historius with their self-titled debut album, which came out in July through Electric Valley Records. Initially, it was going to be an EP. They recorded a 3-track EP, but since they got signed with Electric Valley Records, they decided to release it as a self-titled debut album. So a bit about Las Historias. They are a trio from Cordoba in Argentina, featuring Thomas Iramain on guitar and vocals, Juan Tamago on drums, and Manuel Rey on bass. They started in 2018, initially as a two-dude operation, but then bassist Manuel joined the band a year later. So, what does the album sound like? The album has a heavy, trippy, psychedelic vibe about it, and also it has that 1960s vibe to it, and feels like a soundtrack to one of those old exploitation movies from that said era. Best way to describe the sound, however, it would be like Jimi Hendrix meets Electric Wizard. So yeah, it has that mellow yet trippy psychedelic feel to the album, especially for the first couple of songs. But then later on, it steps into a much more doom territory with the fuzz turned way up on the riffs, especially on the closing track, Mayhem and Sex. Here is a little bit of an example. Your doom, trippy, and on the psychedelic side, especially laced with a bit of acid, I think you may like this. It's definitely an album for a hazy summer's day where you just want to sit in the sun. Yeah. So if heavy psych doom isn't for you, and you want something that's maybe just a little bit out there, maybe Hi-Fi Club might be up your street. So Hi-Fi Club are a French experimental trio, and they've just put out a collaboration album called Rupture, which features jazz trumpet player Ruben Lewis, Matt Cameron, who has played drums in both Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, and also features producer Daffodil. So Rupture was released as a surprise through Electric Valley Records, and was recorded almost remotely due to, the ongoing situation and, quarantine stuff. Question being, what does it actually sound like? Well, it is a 25-minute long album with 6 songs, and for me has that uninterrupted feel about it. Musically speaking, the album has a whole range of ideas going for it, from jazz to ambient to a bit of math rock. At times, I felt it sounded a bit like Tim Hecker with a full band behind him. Even describing it like that doesn't really describe it well enough. For me, it was quite strange, though rather unique, and I found that to be very endearing about the release. One thing that stands out for me was the inclusion of trumpets, which is obviously by Ruben Lewis. It gives it that bluesy atmosphere which goes well with the kind of ambient backdrop. While, it's quite mellow and quiet sounding, it definitely gets much louder with the inclusion of guitars. Here is a little bit of a sample for you. Rupture comes highly recommended if you're in the mood for something a little bit different or out there, or if you're like me and you get into those moods where you're just tired of listening to the same thing over and over again, Rupture might be able to help fix that. So yeah, check it out, it's out now. So if that didn't do much for you, and you want something, well, you know, heavy, never fear, because I've got 2 black metal bands that I want to talk about, so yeah, I've got you covered on that. Now I want to talk about the band called Seventh, with their album called Vakami, which is out now. So just a little bit about Seventh. They started in 2016, and they are an atmospheric black metal band from Quebec in Canada. Seventh consists of Jean-Fred Gavin on vocals, on guitar Olivier Faladou, bass Martin Lessard, and on drums Alex Bleru Benachez. Now, I've definitely got some of those pronunciations wrong, so yeah, I do apologise. And Vakame is their 3rd album. But what does it sound like? Well, as I mentioned, yeah, they are a black metal band, and they nail the sound really well. And upon my first listen, I was genuinely surprised at how much I enjoyed this, and that's down to me having to be in the mood for black metal sometimes. I like how it gets going after the intro synthes, and as soon as that's finished, it starts right off the bat and just hits you with some hard as fuck riffs with the song Echoes. So yeah, their whole album has the usual fast-paced riffing, the blast beats, and the vocals that avoid sounds things, something like that raspy feel, like you've got like a fish stuck in your mouth sound. And yeah, the production has this really clean, polished sound, which I know may put some people off, as some people might like their black metal being on the rougher, rawer side of things, but don't let that put you off. I think it does a really good job of capturing the heaviness, and you will get hit with a heavy slab of black metal with this album. The lyrical themes on this album deal with a lot of like mental illness, especially with the song Echoes. Lust as well, that song deals with people who use sex to forget about their problems. And my favourite, the best to last, is the song Gift of Death, which is all about human sacrifice. So yeah, I think this album comes recommended from me. And here is a little bit of sample of one of their songs. Here you go. Alright, so let's finish this off with some more black metal. This time from Sweden with the band Svederne with their forthcoming album called Hard, which is Swedish for Hearth. And this is coming out on the 28th of August through Carnal Records. So Hard is the 3rd album following on from Svedjeland. I definitely got that wrong, I'm so sorry. That was released in 2018. Hard, a little bit about that, was recorded in 1 week in the wilderness of Värmland in Sweden, and it was recorded by collaborator Lars Robin Larsson Asp. So, what does this album sound like? Well, throughout the 50-minute long album, this album is a raw, riff-fueled monster. If you don't get literally pummeled in the face by the riffs, the blast beats and harsh vocals will definitely finish you off. What I have noticed is that it does have a bit of melody in places and kind of goes to a more black and roll side of things, which I'm definitely a fan of. For me, for those parts, definitely reminded me of something like Midnight with the old vocalist of Kvelertak on vocal duty, but it definitely stays true to its roots with its bleak atmosphere. One thing I want to mention is how unrelenting it is. It definitely does not give you a chance to breathe. You're in there from the start, except for like a short 2-minute segue. I'm not going to pronounce the title of that. I've already fucked enough pronunciations for today. So one thing else I want to say, Hard was the right choice of name for this album, as you know, it is hard as fuck. Definitely love the artwork as well. It resembles something bleak and cold. So as per the album. Now let's play a little bit of a sample of it, and this is from the track Fortigan.
The
Okay, so that was my first and potentially last edition of summer releases that you may or may not have checked out, though I may be persuaded to do more if anyone likes this format. So yeah, have you checked any of these releases out? Please let me know what you thought about them down below in the comment section. Like always, if you've enjoyed this ramble, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps out. I'm also on Facebook if you want to give that a like. I'm going to start doing more stuff on that as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, all I've got left to say to you guys is I've been the dude who talks. You guys are fucking awesome as per usual. Thank you so much for listening. I've been the dude who talks.